You know that moment when someone's so rude, you just stand there stunned, half shocked, half furious, and you can't stop thinking, did that really just happen? Well, when that happened to me at a museum in Crete, I decided I wasn't just going to let it slide. I was going to make sure the person who shoved an elderly couple out of the way got exactly what she deserved. If you ever wished you could serve a little justice to someone who thought they could walk all over people, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready, because this might just be the most satisfying petty revenge story you'll hear today. Last summer, my family and I went on a long overdue vacation to Crete. Do you know that feeling, sun on your face, warm breeze, no deadlines, no emails. Just peace. We did spend a few days exploring beaches and old towns, and our next stop was this incredible museum filled with artifacts from Minoan civilization. It was the kind of place where you could actually feel history humming in the walls. When we arrived, there was already a long line outside, but it wasn't too bad. Everyone was relaxed, chatting quietly, waiting their turn. The line moved smoothly, thanks to the staff working efficiently at the entrance. Right in front of us stood this sweet elderly couple from Canada. You know the type, matching sun hats, polite smiles, speaking softly to each other. They even offered to take a family photo for us while we waited. They were the kind of people who made you feel warm inside just by being near them. We'd been in line for about 15 minutes when she showed up. Now, I get it, tour guides are busy. They got groups to manage, schedules to keep. But this woman? She didn't just step up to the counter to check in, she charged through the line like she was leading an army into battle. Her voice cut through the air like a whip. "Excuse me." "Tour group coming through," she barked, waving a clipboard like it was some kind of royal decree. People shuffled back, startled. The Canadian couple ahead of us turned, confused, trying to make space. But before they could even move, the tour guide physically nudged them aside with her shoulder. The woman stumbled a little. The man caught her arm. And this guide, she didn't even apologize. She just kept moving forward, waving her 20 tourists along behind her like she owned the place. You could see the confusion and embarrassment on the older couple's faces. The husband murmured, "Oh, I suppose they're on a schedule." His wife just smiled weakly, like she didn't want to make a fuss. That's what really got me. The pure politeness of these two, and how it was just stomped on. Around me, a few people exchanged looks. Eyebrows raised, but no one said anything. And the museum staff? They didn't seem to care. They just processed the tour guide's tickets and waved her group inside like nothing had happened. I remember standing there, jaw clenched, watching her disappear through the entrance. And that's when I felt it, the heat in my chest, that prickly sense of no. This isn't right. Now, I'm not usually the revenge type. eBay got kids. eBay got a mortgage. I'm supposed to be the grown-up. But something about that moment hit differently. Maybe it was the disrespect. Maybe it was how smug she looked as she bulldozed through. Or maybe it was because the couple she shoved aside reminded me of my own parents. Whatever it was, I decided that day, justice would be served. And I wasn't going to yell or cause a scene. Oh no. This was going to be the most polite, calculated revenge that museum had ever seen. Turning point, the plan forms. As we finally entered the museum a few minutes later, I spotted her group ahead of us. She was standing near the first exhibit, a massive reconstruction of a Minoan palace, speaking in this loud, overly rehearsed voice. "This is where the Minoans held ceremonial gatherings," she boomed. Notice the intricacy of the frescoes. Her tone was pure superiority, like she was lecturing a bunch of schoolkids. That's when the idea clicked. If she wanted to own the space, to dominate the room and play queen of the museum, then my family and I were going to make sure she didn't get the chance. Emotion to my kids. Hey, I whispered, want to have a little fun? They looked at me like they knew exactly what I meant. We casually walked up to the same exhibit, pretending to be fascinated by it, and we positioned ourselves right in front of her group. He stood directly in front of her line of sight. My kids spread out beside me, completely blocking her view of the display. The guide paused mid-sentence. Ooh, excuse me, could you please step? But before she could finish, my oldest daughter, who'd just finished a Greek history course, started talking. Loudly. Oh, look at the architecture here. You can really see the influence of early Minoan design, can't you? Her brother chimed in, equally loud. Yeah, and the colors, they must be used natural pigments from volcanic rock. We weren't rude, per se. We were just enthusiastic. Very enthusiastic. The tour guide tried to speak over us, but we kept going, asking questions among ourselves, gesturing at displays, completely drowning out her voice. From the corner of my eye, I saw her expression tighten. Her jaw flexed. She shifted her clipboard from hand to hand like she was trying to decide whether to confront us. She tried to move her group to the next exhibit, but we followed naturally. Oh wow, let's check out the next one. And once again, we landed right in front of her. Like clockwork. At this point, it was almost choreography. She did start to talk. We did start our own loud family discussion. My kids threw in trivia, series, and exaggerated curiosity. Andy. Ismail. Sweetly. Every time she looked my way, I just gave her a polite nod, like oh, are we in your way? Oops. By the second hall, she had enough. She tried to skip ahead to the next room, but my kids, bless their mischievous hearts, had already moved there first. When she arrived, they were already mid-discussion, blocking the next display. You could almost see the steam rising from her ears. At one point, she leaned toward me, voice low but tense. Sir, could you please move? You're disrupting my tour. He looked her square in the eyes, smiled, and said, Oh, sorry. We're just really into Minoan culture. Hope we're not in the way. Then I turned back to my daughter. Sweetheart, tell me again about the fresco pigments. Her group looked confused, half amused, half annoyed. Some were clearly catching on that their mighty tour guide was being stonewalled by a random dad and his kids. The power dynamic had shifted, and she knew it. This little dance continued for 3 full exhibition halls. Every time she tried to explain something, we were there, chatting, blocking, asking each other loud questions. It was the most polite, infuriating revenge imaginable. By the time we reached the 4th hall, her patience was gone. She cut her tour short, mumbling something about moving to the next section. Her voice had lost that confident boom, it was tight, clipped, frustrated. And that's when I looked at her one last time, smiled again, and simply said, Lovely exhibits today, aren't they? She didn't reply. Used cleared. That's when I knew, mission accomplished. Later, as we caught up with my wife, who had wisely stayed out of it, she just raised an eyebrow. You had your fun? She asked. Oh, absolutely, I said, grinning. My kids were still laughing, replaying the moment we blocked her for the 3rd time. It wasn't a dramatic revenge. No yelling, no confrontation. Just quiet, poetic justice. We defended that sweet old culpr's dignity without saying a single harsh word. And honestly, it felt amazing. Sometimes, revenge doesn't need to be loud or cruel. Sometimes, it's just about balancing the scales, reminding people that kindness matters, and that arrogance doesn't go unnoticed. That day, I didn't just see a museum exhibit. I saw karma in real time. If this story gave you that warm justice served feeling, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And remember, sometimes the sweetest revenge is just letting karma borrow your voice.